Hey, so welcome back. This is Mr. Korb. I have another tech tip for you, or another tech tool that we're going to be using. If you haven't seen this site before, this is a great tool to use to assess your students' knowledge on certain topics. This is called thatquiz.org. Thatquiz.org is just, it's open source, it's free for students to access, for teachers to use. You create classes, you can set up assignments, and it's a great way to test your students' knowledge and just hit them hard with example problems, and just a great tool to use overall. So if you haven't seen the first video in this series, the thatquiz.org intro, you can go ahead and click on the link that's in the top left-hand corner that I just posted right now. Click on that and you can check out the intro to this site. In this video, what I want to talk about is how to set up classes and how to set up password-protected classes as well, insert students, and then ultimately assign tests to those students. And I'll give you a step-by-step process, what it looks like from a teacher's perspective and what it looks like from a student's perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. This is thatquiz.org. And this is totally free to set up an account. You'll see my classes over here that I already have set up. But over here, this is the administration window of that quiz. You will come over here and click on New Class, right underneath Edit Class. New Class, I'm going to name it as Class Test 1. Let's go ahead and select 12th grade, why not? And I'm going to enter in a couple students here. Joe Smith. Let's go with John Doe and Mary Smith. There we go. They're brother and sister. Okay, so there are my three students that I want in my classes. There is an option where you can import students into the class. I would recommend doing this if you have multiple students, a ton of students in the class. Very helpful to insert those all at once. So I'm going to go ahead and save. And to edit this class and view the classroom homepage, which we'll use most likely, is underneath Edit Class. Select the class you want to edit class, you'll see your students pop up. There's a couple things here. First off, class homepage is very important. If you're using a classroom management system like Edmodo or Google Classroom or Schoology, highly recommend posting this in one of the resources pages on those CMSs. If you click on the class homepage, it'll take you to where your tests are going to be generated and where they're going to populate for your students. So the student can select his name, and obviously because I don't have any students in here, or I don't have any assignments in here, I should say, then there are none that are popping up for John Doe. Okay, likewise for Joe Smith, and so on. So again, if we go to the class page, there are our students, and what I'm going to do is show you how to password protect these. Because although students are very honest and very hardworking and want to do all their own work, sometimes we have one student who tends to do other people's work. So if we password protect it, hopefully it's a little bit more secure. Homepage with passwords, I highly recommend this, and it's also highly recommended by thatquiz.org. Require passwords for all class tests, and students can review grades. So they not only have to get in with their password, they also have to use it for the test, and also they need it for to review the grades on the assignments, which is very important. So passwords, if your students already have a school password for their computer, I recommend getting that list generated and using that list, because then it's another password that your students don't have to remember because they already know it. So let's go ahead, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1. Okay, so when we go in, I'm going to save this. So if we head back over to our classroom homepage, you can see that we have our names down here. I'll click on John Doe, password pops up, enter the password, boom. Obviously he still has no current assignments, but it's password protected, very secure, and he's the only one who can access it. Alright, so that's how to create a class. That's how to enter in students. Let's go ahead and assign our first quiz and show you what it looks like on the back end. Okay, so I'm going to come down here. In the last video I did show a quick demonstration of that, but here's a more in-depth one. So I'm going to stick to math because that's what I do. Go to geometry here, say this is geometry class. Click on triangles, and I want them to identify the area and perimeter of triangles. So I'm going to set the length to 100 questions just because I'm mean. I'm going to set the level to 100 just because I'm mean, right? No, but you can set the level to whatever you want. 10 to 20 questions is typically what I do, just to assess their knowledge. Timer, you can set up how fast they need to do the entire quiz. So if you don't want them to just sit there and spend hours and hours and hours on the test, you can set up a specific time limit. Or if it's an easy topic and you want them to get very quick at it, I would recommend doing a timer. Order, random, because then students can't look off of other students' screen. It's all jumbled up, all different. Okay, so you can select the test name, change it, and then assign test. Here's the test that is assigned to this class. So again, if I go, if you ever need that classroom homepage again, you can always come to Edit Class. And I'm going to show you what it looks like on their end. Coming over here to John Doe. Okay, here's the test. Right, I just assigned it. It's the length, the level. They click on it, and they can begin the test. Okay, so they would figure out what the area was in this case and move on from there. They can answer all the questions, they can finish it later, they can fast forward, rewind, and so on. Let me show you what are some cool things that you can do as a teacher on this end. This is really useful. So if you click on the actual test, one, you can change the questions, you can change the point values, and everything like that. You could type your own instructions, but a couple key features. You can set tests to expire. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, or other. You can select a specific date. So let's say tomorrow for this case. Test name, you can change it there. You can change the level, the time limit, etc. But the really cool thing down here is that you can save grades when scores above a certain percentage. So say that you want students to hit 80% mastery. Not 810, 80% mastery. If you want that, then what I do is I say you must score at least an 80% for this grade to count. Students do not like this because if they do not get 80%, they got to start it over. It does not record the grade. They know that right from the beginning. It makes them retake the test. Once they do get that 80, it disappears from their test page, and then they're done. And there's a bunch of other features in here that you can play with, figure out what you would like your students to do. If you allow your students to navigate backwards, that means that they can change their answers once they get further in the test. And also, students may only navigate forward. So that means that they can't navigate backward. Once their answer is in, and that's it. So let's go ahead. We'll save it. There's the test. And if I go in as a student, start testing, and start entering in answers, and I know that there's 100 of them, so I'm not going to spend the whole time here, but let me show you what the grades look like on the back end. So if I go into another class, select this one, and I'm going to come down to number line distance, and I'm going to go into grades, and here are all the grades for each section. So every single test has the grade for each student, and then it shows you the average at the very end, and you can click on one, get the exact printout of what happened, what they did, how many questions they got right. Very useful when you're trying to see where your students are at. So this is thatquiz.org in its entirety. There's a bunch of other features that are on here that I may explain in another video, but this should get you started. Just go ahead, play, and explore. And if you want some more tech tips, you can click on the link that is to the left and to take you to the playlist of tech tips from Mr. Korb. All right, have a good day. I will catch you later.